Hi everyone, how you doing? Welcome to Instagram Live again today. I'm with my friend Dr. Jill Gamberg from Double Bay Doctors. How are you?
Hey everybody, I'm great. How are you today?
Good. And we're having one of our usual wellness chats. I'll let a few of you sign in and say hello. And if you enjoy these wellness little chats, I'd love for you to hit subscribe on my website, Anna Kooiman and Dr, but also if you can share this video so that more people can take part as well. Of course, I've got my buddy Brooks here too, who's just turned bonk. He's just turned 9 months and he's actually due for a bottle, so I think we'll start giving you your bottle right now too. But today we're going to be talking about when is the right time to go back to exercising. I did a blog post yesterday about how I've been doing the baby jogger with Brooksy and with my Bob stroller, and it's a really good one. It's aerodynamic and it's a bit different than my everyday stroller. It's a good one. But I didn't want to start too early. Do you want some milk? Yeah. I didn't want to start too early because, look, he would be jostling around in there too much. I didn't know if it would be safe for him. And the same thing for me. You know, I wasn't sure that I wanted to really start running. It took me about 5 months to even think about running, jumping, jogging, prancing, frolicking, anything like that after delivering my baby boy. And it's something that a lot of women are struggling with and thinking about, you know, when do we go back? And if you're somebody who's been really fit before and it's part of your everyday life, you really want to get back into fitness so that you can feel normal again. So what's right at the right time is what we really want to be doing, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So first, when can we return to low impact exercise?
Well, as a good rule of thumb, what you want to do is have your check with your doctor, midwife, obstetrician, or a women's health physio around, well, first of all, you have to have your check with the doctor or obstetrician.
Yeah.
But in terms of returning to sport, it can be any of those people. And about 6 or 8 weeks after you've had that check, just making sure everything's okay is a really good rule of thumb for returning to exercise.
Yeah.
Low impact specifically.
Low impact, light weights. You don't recommend doing heavy weights, is that right?
Oh, goodness, no. You got to start light. You really have to realize that your body has changed. Basically, even if you sprain your ankle, we all know that you have to rehabilitate back to exercise. Your body is no different after birth. So you really have to look at the birthing experience, the pregnancy and birthing experience as something that you have to give yourself time to recover from.
Yeah.
So there's no point in just jumping back into what you used to do. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to do it. You just have to do it when the time is right. You have to be patient.
Yeah. You know, the classes that I'm teaching, Kooiman Cardio, it's a mix of kickboxing, hip-hop dancing, athletic drills all rolled into one. And it is very high impact, but I also always make sure to offer low impact exercises because I totally understand, I totally get it. And you don't want to do any damage because you really can do damage long term, can't you?
Well, the thing you have to realize is that you can actually develop incontinence, urinary incontinence, if you go back too early, or if you have incontinence already, you're not going to enable your body to heal so that it gets better, and you might make it worse.
Right.
There's no point in ending up with a lifelong problem just so you can get back and be fit again. It's much better to do it in a graded, supervised manner so that you do it safely.
And one thing you mentioned too is sometimes women think, oh, if I have a C-section, then maybe I won't have to deal with the pelvic floor issues, but you say that's not necessarily the case.
So what you have to realize is that irrespective of the way that you birth the baby, so vaginally or C-section, it's actually 9 months of being pregnant and having that baby press on your pelvic floor and extend your muscles.
Yes.
So all your muscles, including your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor, are stretched to the max and are also quite weak.
I have to say one thing I did not realize until I started doing a lot of research when I was pregnant and post-baby pretty early on, when I knew that I wanted to go back but wanted to go back the right way, is that everything is really all connected. You know, the hip bone's connected to the leg bone, you know, just like the song says, but it really is. So our core is very in tune with our pelvic floor, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So in fact, when everybody talks about the pelvic floor, but you have to think about your abdominals as well. People can have issues with their abdominals, as you've talked about. You can get something called diastasis recti, or that's where you get a separation of your abs.
It's very common. Most women get it.
About 2/3 of women get it to some degree, and some people don't even realize. Yeah, exactly. So when you have issues like that as well, then your abdominals, it's this whole the whole place where you hold the baby,
Yes.
abdominals, pelvic floor, back, it's all connected. So we have to make sure that all of it's ready to return to exercise and that all of it is done in a safe manner so we don't hurt ourselves.
We'll talk a little bit about the connective tissue that runs between there, the linea alba there, and how it can kind of be like yoga pants almost. And like I was doing a lot of research about this diastasis recti, and that, you know, even if you just eat a big meal and your tummy is normally flat because it's been stretched out so much from that relaxing hormone, it can end up being poochy. Just not because you're fat or you're not taking care of yourself or anything like that. It's simply that the connective tissue is really loosened up.
The reality is it doesn't fix after you have the baby. What you can do is just tighten up the muscles so they relearn how to stay together. But the reality is if you eat a big meal, it can still pop
Yeah,
out.
I still notice that.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
And that you can't fix. That's just part of being a mom, part of having,
It's
you know,
worth
the
it.
wonder of children. Yeah.
But you can do a lot, can't
make it
you,
better.
to try to heal it together. And there are certain ab exercises to stay away from early on, planks being one of them, that people don't realize.
Sit-ups.
Sit-ups.
Plain
Yeah,
old
that's the big
sit-ups.
one.
Hover exercises, planks, curl-ups, any of the really heavy-duty ones that increase the pressure in your abdomen, you want to stay away from.
Yeah, and even lifting too heavy a weight, if you're loading it on your shoulders, why is that bad?
Because we tend to hold our breath, and anything that makes you hold your breath increases the intra-abdominal pressure, and increase of intra-abdominal pressure puts extra pressure on your abdominals and your pelvic floor. They're already weakened from the pregnancy and birth.
So if women are going, you know what, I don't want to wait 3 months or 4 months or however long to start doing, you know, my ab exercises, what are some of the things we can do just as simple as bracing and things like that?
Well, if you want to talk about, you know, the beginning days, you don't have to do nothing. You can actually, once things are settling down a little bit, usually by second or third week, you can start to be mindful of just thinking about your pelvic floor. And
We had a very short nap today.
and starting to brace your abdomen. So where you're actually contracting your abdominal muscles without actually moving. So you don't have to sit up. You just can lie on your back or do it. Lying on your back is quite easy. And you just think about contracting those muscles.
So this is even in the early days.
Yeah, you can absolutely start doing that stuff even from the third week, just to give an awareness, to regain the brain-body connection, to get those nerves and muscles kind of thinking about, hey, I can do this work again. I can start to, you know, it's those muscles are really weak, and you have to reteach them how to contract.
I remember when I went to the
again.
women's physio for the first time. That's what everyone here calls a women's physio instead of women's physiologist. But when I went to go see her the first time, she said, okay, now turn on your pelvic floor and turn on your abs. And I was like, I'm trying. You just can't tell because I didn't have that connection. It really is strange how your mind is not talking to your body the way that it normally does. And you have to relearn it again. It's crazy.
Well, when those muscles get stretched out, they actually don't contract anymore. If any muscle in your body is overstretched, it can't work. And so you just need to reteach it. It's like learning how to walk at this age. You need to train your body. He doesn't know how to do that yet, but he's going to learn, and his brain and his muscles are going to learn how to do it together. So after having a baby, it's like rehabilitating from an injury. You need to reteach your body how to do stuff again. And those simple things like pelvic floor and abdominal exercises need to be relearned.
They need to be relearned. Yeah, God, it's crazy, isn't it? Talk a little bit about how doing the wrong ab exercises can make you have more of a pooch instead of less of a pooch.
Well, in general, if you're doing the wrong exercises, you can harm yourself. So be that pelvic floor where you can actually cause yourself incontinence or worsen an incontinence. Or like you said, everybody wants that flat tummy again.
Right.
But if you don't train the muscles properly, I mean, you have 4 layers of abdominal muscles. And you have to really train the inside ones before you get to the outside ones.
Right.
Everybody notices the outside ones because those are the pretty
The rectus
six-pack.
abdominals.
Yeah, that's the six-pack that everybody wants.
But we need to work the transverse abdominals.
That's right. The obliques and the transverse abdominals. The deep muscles are much more important for general strength and also maintaining good posture and getting back into your exercise program.
And finally, I just want to talk a little bit about, you said the word incontinence, and like even saying the word, people are like, ew, that's so gross. You know, I think about like when I used to host a morning show, that is certainly something you would not want to talk about. And it's just something that people don't want to talk about in general. We know that we need to do our pelvic floor exercises to make sure that we don't wee when we do start jumping again. But we also do need to work our abs. And if you could just talk a little bit about why that is too.
Well, you have to realize that, I mean, we don't think about it because we learn when we're little how to be toilet trained. And as adults, it's just like an automatic thing. But you actually have to relax your muscles in order to pee. And then you need to contract them again to stop. And that sounds very basic, but you're reteaching your muscles how to do things after birth. And just pregnancy and birth can affect the way those muscles work as well. So if you overstress them, it causes incontinence. And even though we don't like to talk about that stuff, it's a natural part of life. It's not normal to be incontinent. You can actually get help. So if you do have any issues with that, talk to your GP.
There are a couple of different types of incontinence too.
Yeah. So basically the main two types are urge incontinence, where you feel like your bladder's full and you really have to go and you got to rush to the bathroom and you have an accident. That's sort of one type. The other type is stress incontinence, so things like coughing and sneezing are what causes the incontinence.
Right.
And you can have both types, and you can have one or the other.
But you can heal yourself.
You can. You can make it better. And you know what? Even if exercise doesn't fix it, there are other avenues that you can, there's other ways. There's pessaries and surgeries. And so please don't give up hope. It's not normal. If that happens to you, talk to somebody about it. Don't suffer in silence.
And then one other topic before we go, strengthening your pelvic floor can also improve your enjoyment of sexual intercourse. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely, you can have good intimacy with your partner post-birth. You don't have to give that up either, but you do have to train your pelvic floor. So, it's well worth retraining that pelvic floor for many, many reasons.
Wink, wink. Thought we'd make sure we get that in there too, because nobody talks about that either. But that's what we're doing. We're talking about the difficult things. All right, everybody. I think Brooks has had enough. Not sure what he needs. Maybe he wants some solid food, or just wants to play, or wants to go turn over Baxter's dog bowl again, or who knows. But we're going to sign off. Anyway, thank you so much. Once again, Dr. Jill Gamberg. You can find more about her at drjillgamberg.com. But make sure you go to annakooiman.com. There's a brand new blog post about when you can go back to exercise, ladies. When is the right time to do the right exercises? We want to make sure we are doing this purposefully and making sure that we are not harming ourselves.
Absolutely.
Maybe he just wants to go to Dr. Gamberg. All right, bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much.